weekend. Let's jump right into it. This is copper. Copper is one of my 3 favorite industrial metals for 2025. And I'll talk more about it in the coming weeks. This is the past year basically, and look what we see. Today, copper is trying to break the downtrend that has been in place for the whole fall, early winter. This is big because we know from the past, when copper goes, it really goes. It's a classic trend following commodity. What I mean by that is it's one of the biggest, most liquid markets to trade. So a lot of institutional investors trade copper, and they mostly use trend following concepts. That's why you see these big up moves in copper or these big down moves, right? They're all trend following. So right now we see a change in trend in copper. That's very, very interesting and juicy. Look down here at the RSI, downtrend already broken and confirmed in the RSI. Really interesting. Now, we haven't broken above the 50, the purple line right here, and we have a zone right here. This is where we need to get over for sentiment to really shift. But I want you to be paying a lot of attention and close attention to the copper prices. We're seeing a move here. We're seeing on the short term dailies here, we're seeing higher lows and we're seeing higher highs. Now, we need to watch if this holds up. As you can see in the past days, look at the long wicks. Copper started strong and it always got sold off. And 3 of the past 4 days, here, here, and here. Will the same thing happen again today when the US markets open? If this does not happen, and we hold on to the strength that we saw in Europe, that is the first sign that something is changing. Then obviously we need to wait for confirmation, and if you're a more conservative trader, you are waiting for the break of this double resistance zone of the 50 and this horizontal zone. But it's really the 50-day that gives the deciding signal. If we look at the past, look at this. We broke below the 50, we have it around it, sell off. We broke above the 50, big rally. We broke below the 50, sell off, retest, unsuccessful, big sell off. We went above the 50, hovered around a little bit, tested it, held up, big rally. So the 50 is big for copper. So this is what we want to look at. But this is really interesting and nobody's talking about it right now. So why, fundamentally, is the strength in copper coming along? And the reason is Trump's second term is about to start. And he will increase spending, and the US needs some major infrastructure investments and also investments in the electric infrastructure, and that will need copper, lots of it. So that's the reason why the copper price is moving. Now I want to show you a couple of other industrial metals to basically prove to you that copper is really interesting and it's a singular event. It used to be in the first commodity bull market 20 years ago, the last one. It's not the first one obviously, but the last one. Everything went up. All the industrial metals more or less went together. And that was the reason was that China back then was buying everything. But the Chinese economy is really struggling. So now it's more individual metals, individual parts of the commodity sector that will move separately. Look at this. This is nickel. Nickel has done nothing since November. It's gone sideways. Now, if you are a contrarian investor, here at this support zone, which has held up in the summer, which has held up in the early fall, which has held up in the late fall, which was tested but not confirmed, right? I always tell you, don't only watch for the breaks, watch for the confirmation. Look at this. Broke below the support zone, jumped right back into it. No confirmation. So this was a really, really bad bear trap. We are at this support zone that goes all the way back, as you can see, to 2023. Very powerful zone, but while this is clearly a Cialis moment for all the contrarian traders, I would be very careful here. Yes, we're seeing higher highs. That I do like, but we did not make a higher high with this move. This would have needed to happen, and we need to break the 50. If we break the 50 on nickel, then the party is on, just like we saw right here, right? But so far, nothing really happening in nickel. Aluminum looks way better than nickel, as you can see. We have been in an uptrend since the summer, very nice. We're fighting with the 50 right now, but really also this fall, nothing really has happened, right? It's trying to push itself above this yellow resistance zone, which goes way back to 2021. We're at it right now. If we break above it and confirm, okay, now we're getting somewhere. But so far, this has not happened. Now, what I like about aluminum is, as you can see, this fall more and more tries to break out. There's clearly pressure boiling. It's not materializing. Look at this. This is like a graveyard of long wicks above the upper end of the resistance zone. But something is happening here. But overall, kind of a boring fall from September, right? This doesn't look as interesting as copper does right now. Now let me show you, to end today's episode, with another industrial metal that I'm paying close attention to. This is also one of my favorites for 2025. And we'll talk more about this in the upcoming weekend show, Drinks with Dan. Shameless plug right here. Dropping to you next weekend. Let's grab a glass of wine and talk about markets and life after the trading week is over. Zinc is looking really, really interesting. Look at this. It's a uptrending triangle formation. We have been in an uptrend with higher highs and higher lows. We are above the 50. Okay, not many industrial metals are above the 50. That shows you there's a separate individual development happening in zinc, and I will do a separate video on it in the coming weeks. Now this resistance zone is massive, as you can see. It goes back to 2021, but if we break above it, zinc, which is a very small market, and if I mean very small, I'm talking in terms of big Wall Street money, right? The zinc market can really, really go and develop crazy rallies because it is a small market. So even a fairly normal amount of money pouring into the zinc market by institutional standards can really move prices and the market. So pay close attention to copper, what's happening today. Put zinc on your watch list, long. Let's see what's happening there. If it breaks out and confirms, zinc could be off to the races in 2025. There'll be some really, really interesting opportunities for swing trades in 2025 in the industrial metals. But as I showed you, you really, really need to pick your battles. That's it for today. Have a great start to the new week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.